Friday night, there may be some holes again. Saturday. Yeah. This month's just crazy.
Hello, Scotty.
Hello, David.
I'm back.
Okay. All right. Let me get everybody's attention and.
Okay, I'm with you.
Okay. You guys, please have
Oh, I'm on a Zoom meeting in the middle of giving a big speech. What's your mom for?
He's not speaking into the microphone. He's talking to someone else. Yeah.
Please pass without interrupting. You'll be right here at the meeting again, because we haven't left yet.
Okay. All right, David, we're going to get started.
Okay, I'm here.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the second David H. Levy Arizona Dark Sky Star Party. We're really proud to have it here in the community of Oracle. It's been a wonderful and warm embrace from this community, not only from the state park, but from the community itself. Even the local business people have been super excited about this. So several of them on Friday night are going to be hosting star parties. There's even some ad hoc star parties that, they kind of were in too late to actually be part of it. So they just decided to do the same format and everything else. So we're kind of happy about that for sure. David Levy is someone that I've done star parties with for a very long time. He's given hundreds or thousands of lectures, thousands, I'll say. He has written many books. I think he's on his 40th book right now that's being published. It's a children's book. And David is someone that's always done educational outreach, especially for young people. But, I think part of his outreach also, aside from the books and the lectures and his comet discoveries and his asteroid discoveries and stuff, is that he is someone that is always willing to share the adventure of discovery and exploration with almost anyone. He meets someone in the airport, he's going to be talking about it. So I know that many of us have met David Levy and stuff, but how about some of you in the room? Have you met, had a chance to? When we do something called Global Star Party, which is a virtual event, and we're actually streaming live right now to our audience, we always start the Global Star Party with poetry from David Levy. And so David loves the aesthetic of searching for comets. He loves the aesthetic of the stars. And, if you haven't read any of his books yet, I encourage you to do so you can get more insight to, the spirit and passion of David Levy. But right now, he is unfortunately unable to join us, but he is with us live right now via Zoom. and he is going to read some poetry to us. He hopes to do it daily if he can. And so, David, I'm going to turn this over to you.
Hello, everybody. And he got it all wrong. I've never looked at a star in my life, but I'd like to get interested in astronomy. And I don't know how to do that. So I wanted so much to come to the star party. But seriously, everyone, I am so glad to be with you, even though it is virtually. I think there is a chance, a very low chance, later on in the week, or perhaps Saturday, if the sky clears and if things are still stable with Wendy, that I may be able to come up. But so far, Scotty isn't even letting me come up. He says, your orders are to be with your family. And so I'm following those orders to the letter. And I just want to welcome you. And I'm so glad you came out to this star party. Scotty had the poor sense to name it after me. And I can't even be there, even though I'm in Tucson and really very close to all of you. So I'm going to do my first quote. And each time you get in touch with me, I will give you a different brief poetic quote, although sometimes I may give you a very long one that lasts 5 or 6 hours. I was going to read Paradise Lost, for example, but just that one line, and I think it's the third line in the whole poem, and the devil is flying out of heaven, and he comes hurtling, flaming from the ethereal sky, just as a meteor would. But today's quotation is going to be from Henry David Thoreau. And Henry Thoreau is one of my favorite writers. I think you're all familiar with him. I studied him in college. And when I graduated from Acadia, in the second darkest time of my life, this one right now that I'm going through is by far the darkest. But back then, when I graduated from Acadia, I was going through a massive depression. And my brother Jerry gave me this poster. I don't have the poster anymore, but I do have the quotation. And here it is. If a man does not keep pace with his companions, perhaps it is because he hears a different drummer. Let him step to the music which he hears, however measured or far away. Thank you so much. God bless you all. And I'll be on a little later. Thanks, Scotty, and back to you.
Thank you. Thank you, David. It's really wonderful.
We're leaving. David, we're leaving.
Okay, all right. Hold on, let me get out and give you a hug. Scotty, you still have your camera on me.
I know.
You got to get me off somehow. This is not White Christmas. That's better. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you so much.
It is White Christmas.
It's always wonderful to have David participate in something like this. This is a very tender and sacred time in his life. So, and yeah, I told him he has to stay. So, let me take care of this. There we are. David is back there still watching what's going on right now. This is this star party started as an idea to give amateur astronomers who join us kind of an experience that they might not get otherwise. Okay. The general idea of it to begin with was that you'll be spending nights observing directly with David Levy, and finding out what it's like to search the sky for comets. And of course, he would dearly love to be here, and we'd love for him to be here, but I think you all get the message. Explore Scientific has been closely aligned with David Levy since I started the company. Just a little background on myself. I started doing work with telescopes about 1980. I was working in a camera shop. I was 20 years old, and we were learning about amateur telescopes at this time, and I realized that in just a few years that Halley's Comet was going to come, So I started doing work with an intern who's a marketing intern. I said, we should put out a little press release every week about Halley's Comet. And we did this for years, okay? Finally, when we got to the point where Halley's Comet was there, this little camera store in Oceanside, California, became the epicenter for amateur astronomy in that region. We had news crews coming out as far as Phoenix to come and interview us and all the rest of it. And I learned at that time, that news reporters are a little lazy. If they're getting good information all the time, they're not going to go searching for it elsewhere too much. But we had great resources. In Oceanside, California, which is just North San Diego County, we had Palomar Observatory in our backyard. Just a couple hours north, we had the Jet Propulsion Laboratory. So we started getting, like the director of Palomar Observatory would come in the shop. Buzz Aldrin stopped in one day. I was gone that day. We had famous amateur astronomers and also famous photographers. Ansel Adams, photographer, again, I was off that day when he just popped into the camera shop, showed up. But as Halley's Comet started getting closer and closer, we decided that we needed to gather together a community of amateur astronomers. They were buying telescopes from me, but they wanted to learn how to use them, and they wanted to go out and have a nice experience with that. So actually one of the club members from that early times is Egon Reich. Egon and I went on many outings, which was part of the Oceanside Photo and Telescope Astronomical Society, or OPTIS is what we called it. And we had I don't know, at its peak, I think there were 500 or 600 members. But there were about 200 regular observers, and we would go out to the desert and observe and just have a heck of a good time. We didn't have all the meeting minutes that you see in a lot of astronomy clubs. We didn't have the political wars that a lot of clubs have. We were just a bunch of friends that went out observing. And so we've kept that kind of thing going. About 1986, I joined Mead Instruments. I was with them for 21 years. It started off as a tech rep and repair expediter. I was running around, which unfortunately there were a lot of repairs, but it kept me busy. And I worked for them doing all kinds of things over 21 years. I worked 6 of those years overseas in Taiwan, building telescopes. I did their first websites. I helped them develop products like the LX200 and the ETX. And, this is where I meet Mike Wiesner. Mike had written a book called The Mighty ETX. And he did a much better job than Mead Instruments did in teaching people how to use them and get the best performance out of their scopes. And to this very day, Mike still has this following of the ETX. So for people that want to learn how to use them or fix them or whatever, he is the source. So in 2007, I had come to the realization I needed to start my own business. It was a promise I'd kept to myself for many years, and I decided before I turned 50 that I needed to actually make good on that promise, because I realized that I probably should have started on that when I was about 30, because it takes a lot of energy to start a business. And I started in my house in Laguna Hills. I retired from Mead Instruments after 21 years. Started the next year in 2008 in my garage, and we're now in our 14th year. In 2010, I moved the business to Northwest Arkansas, which has been a great move. We've had many talented people. Kent Martz is one of our key employees there. We have this friendship of other people involved with the company. through outreach activities that we do. And I've always kept outreach as a part of our company. I think that we owe something to the community that supports us. You know, telescopes and selling telescopes to people that are amateur astronomers is not like selling a luxury item. It's not a mass market deal, okay? It's not a SKU. It's not, you know, what you're doing is you're outfitting people that are into the lifestyle of astronomy. And most of the amateur astronomers that I know kind of consider themselves to be astronomers first. And if they're a lawyer, that's maybe second, okay? That's something that they do to feed their astronomy habit. But, or if they're a janitor, it doesn't matter, because there is a fellowship of astronomers that goes all the way back to the earliest recorded times of science. And so you can make direct connections. And there are people, I love these connections because sometimes you hear stories of people like Carlos Hernandez, who's a space artist. He had a connection with people that were connected to Lowell Observatory. They were trained by people that from Percival Lowell going on. And so this connection, this thread, keeps connecting. And Percival Lowell was a businessman, loved the idea of exploring the skies, buys the biggest telescope he can, sets up a private research institution. It's still going on to this day. It's still in the family. It is still on the bleeding edge of planetary science. And so if you haven't been to Lowell Observatory, it's someplace you got to go, okay? But Explore Scientific continues on. We have a membership program called the Explore Alliance. After we do this event, we're flying to Mount Wilson Observatory, and the people who signed up for that are going to use the historic 60-inch telescope that was used to discover that the Milky Way, or that the sun and our solar system was not in the center of the Milky Way. It was something that was astounding at the time, because up until the 1923 discovery of the Cepheid variables, or Cepheid variable in the Andromeda galaxy with the 100-inch telescope at Mount Wilson, our whole universe was estimated to be something like 100,000 light years in size. So you can imagine these major discoveries that were, sometimes they happened overnight, okay, and expanded our view of the universe and made everybody go back to the drawing board. So a thing I'd like to also talk about is the contributions of amateur astronomy. You know, all of us here are amateur astronomers. Some of us, I don't know, maybe some of you have done professional astronomy. But amateur astronomy has, you know, really made giant contributions to the science. David Levy is a perfect example. He did not go to the university to study astrophysics or astronomy. He loved looking at the stars. He discovered over 20 comets. So he's known worldwide. His most famous comet discovery was Comet Shoemaker-Levy 9 that impacted Jupiter. And so, and he became world famous for that. But anyways, I'm going to turn this over to Mike Wiesner. Mike was really super instrumental in helping me put this whole program together. I actually had to be absent for the last couple of weeks. I was in Armenia for an event called STARMUS, and that was an event with Nobel laureates and astronauts, and rock stars were there. And so it was an amazing experience. On the day after I came back, war broke out in that country between Armenia and Azerbaijan. So,
Scott, we're an hour early.
Are we? Good.
Yeah, this is supposed to start at 11:45.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. This is pre-introductions then. We'll do it again at 11:45. How's that, everybody? Anyways, I would like Mike to come up and say a few words. Thank you.
So, thank you, Scott and David. Thank you for those wonderful inspirational words, especially at this time. You know, we're all wishing everything works out. So, thank you. So I live here in Oracle, for those of you who don't know, and it's really been a thrill for me to see this thing come together. Scott and I started talking about this in 2019 at the Karchner event. And I said, hey, Oracle State Park was the first international dark sky park in the Arizona State Park system. We need to come up here. Well, you know, Karchner Cameron's a neat place, got lots of neat stuff we can do down there. But we laid the seeds with Scott to start coming up here. Well, then the pandemic hit, so we didn't go back to Karchner Caverns. Other things happened. Scott calls me last October and says, we're coming to Oracle. So my life changed immediately. And it's just been a wonderful ride working with Scott and the Explore Scientific team to get this event here. But as you're going to hear later today, this community has just totally sunk its heart and soul into this event. The businesses, the residences. This community, when we did Oracle State Park as an international dark sky park, the support in the community for doing that was critical. The support surfaced. It was so critical and it was there for us. This community, because of its long heritage of enjoying the night sky, they want to protect that. There are people here who are living in their parents' or their grandparents' house because they grew up here. So they may be in their 70s, but this was their childhood home. They did not want to leave Oracle. Some of them left and came back. That's the kind of community that we have here. We have artists, we have photographers, we have people who enjoy nature, wildlife. So those are the kind of people who have totally endorsed this. And these people are business owners here in the community. So guess what? We're getting all kinds of support. It is so awesome to have this event here in Oracle. I'm thrilled. It's been great working for many, many months getting this thing together. Last week I was panicking. It's next week. And yesterday I was out with the team at the park from about 8 o'clock till 9 o'clock last night. I'm tired. My voice is going. But I welcome all of you to Oracle. I welcome you to the Oracle Dark Sky Cultural Festival, because we're doing lots of festive kinds of things this week. And I welcome you to the David H. Levy Arizona Dark Sky Star Party. So thank you for being here. Thank you, Scott.
So that was kind of our pre event here. We'll have more people, I assume, coming in at about 11:45. So you guys get to know each other, and enjoy the activities that are going on in the area. Visit the restaurants and the other people that are kind of supporting this. I think it's very cool. I hope that Oracle really does become this, official dark sky place. I think that they're well on the way to doing that, and we plan to do this here every year. So, yeah. So thank you very much. We're going to sign out for now, and and thanks for all of you that are watching for tuning in.